Many men are hearing warnings on social media and in videos claiming that certain fruits are harming their prostate, and this message is creating unnecessary fear and confusion about foods that have been considered healthy for thousands of years. I see patients in my practice who have stopped eating all fruits because they watched a video that told them fruit sugar was destroying their prostate, and now they are genuinely scared to eat an apple or a handful of berries. This fear is not only unwarranted in most cases, but it is actually preventing men from getting important nutrients that protect prostate health. It is completely normal and understandable to feel confused when you see this kind of information, especially when fruits have always been synonymous with health and wellness. Now suddenly they are being portrayed as villains that are secretly sabotaging your prostate while you thought you were making healthy choices. The conflicting messages create anxiety and paralysis, where men do not know what to believe or what to eat anymore, so they either avoid fruits completely or ignore all dietary advice because it seems too contradictory to follow. Today I am going to explain clearly and scientifically what the research actually says about fruits and their relationship with prostate health. You are going to learn which fruits genuinely support prostate function, in which specific situations moderation might be helpful, and most importantly, why the fear-mongering around fruit consumption is based on misunderstanding and misrepresentation of the science. This is not about telling you what you want to hear. This is about giving you accurate information so you can make informed decisions without unnecessary anxiety. My name is Dr. Isabel López, and I am a urologist who specializes in helping men understand the real science behind prostate health without the hype or fear tactics. I want to know where you are watching from today. Drop your city or country in the comments below so I can see our community. And make sure to follow this channel because I am dedicated to cutting through misinformation and giving you the truth about men's health. Let me show you why fruits are allies for your prostate, not enemies, and how to consume them intelligently for maximum benefit. The primary argument that people use against eating fruit is the natural sugar content, specifically fructose, and they claim that this sugar causes inflammation in the prostate. But here is what the actual scientific research shows. When you consume fructose in normal amounts from whole fruits, it does not cause prostate inflammation or increase your risk of prostate disease. The fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that come packaged with the natural sugar in whole fruit create a completely different metabolic response than consuming isolated fructose from processed foods. When you eat an apple or an orange, the fiber in that fruit slows down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream, which prevents the dramatic insulin spikes that can contribute to inflammation. The antioxidants in the fruit, such as vitamin C, polyphenols, and flavonoids, actively combat oxidative stress and reduce inflammation rather than causing it. Your body processes whole fruit in a way that supports metabolic health rather than undermining it, and this has been demonstrated in countless studies on fruit consumption and disease risk. The real problem that gets misrepresented as a fruit problem is the consumption of processed fruit products. Industrial fruit juices that have been stripped of fiber and often have added sugar, smoothies loaded with sweeteners and multiple servings of fruit blended together which concentrates the sugar load, and ultra-processed fruit snacks like fruit roll-ups or canned fruits in heavy syrup. These products deliver massive amounts of fructose without the protective fiber and nutrients, and that is when you see the negative metabolic effects that can indirectly affect prostate health. The key distinction that almost never gets made in these fear-based videos is that eating whole fresh fruit with all its natural fiber intact is fundamentally different from drinking fruit juice or eating fruit-flavored processed foods. When you eat 2 or 3 servings of whole fruit per day as part of a balanced diet, you are providing your body with essential nutrients, fiber, and protective compounds that reduce your overall disease risk, including prostate disease. The science is clear and consistent on this point, but it gets lost in the noise of sensational claims designed to get clicks and views. Now, I want to address the one area where certain fruits can genuinely cause problems for some men, and that is bladder irritation in cases of chronic prostatitis or bladder sensitivity. Fruits that are highly acidic, including oranges, lemons, pineapple, and kiwi, can irritate the bladder lining and the urethra in men who already have inflammation in these areas. This irritation does not destroy your prostate or cause prostate disease, but it can temporarily worsen urinary symptoms like burning, urgency, or weak stream. Stick with me until the end because I am going to give you practical guidelines for how to consume fruit intelligently based on your individual situation and symptoms. But first you need to understand that this irritation effect is specific to certain individuals and certain conditions. If you have a healthy prostate and no urinary symptoms, eating acidic fruits is not going to harm you. In fact, the vitamin C and other nutrients in citrus fruits have protective benefits. The issue only arises when there is pre-existing inflammation that makes the tissues more sensitive to acidic compounds. For men dealing with chronic prostatitis, interstitial cystitis, or an irritated bladder from an enlarged prostate, consuming large amounts of acidic fruits can make their symptoms noticeably worse. They might experience increased burning during urination, more frequent urges to go, or discomfort in the pelvic region. This is a real and valid concern for that specific population, but it does not mean that these fruits are inherently bad or that they cause prostate disease in healthy men. The recommendation here is to personalize your fruit consumption based on your individual tolerance and symptoms. If you notice that citrus fruits or pineapple consistently make your urinary symptoms worse, then reduce or temporarily eliminate them while you work on resolving the underlying inflammation. But if you have no symptoms and your prostate is healthy, there is no reason to avoid these nutritious fruits based on fear. Pay attention to your body, track your symptoms, and adjust accordingly without creating unnecessary restrictions or anxiety about foods that provide genuine health benefits. Let me explain the real science behind fructose and how it relates to prostate health, because this is where a lot of the confusion and misinformation comes from. Excessive fructose consumption, particularly from high fructose corn syrup in sodas and processed foods, is strongly associated with metabolic syndrome, which is a cluster of conditions including insulin resistance, high blood pressure, abnormal cholesterol, and abdominal obesity. Metabolic syndrome creates a state of chronic systemic inflammation throughout your entire body, and that inflammation does indirectly affect prostate health. When your metabolism is disrupted by excessive sugar intake, your body produces more inflammatory compounds, your hormonal balance shifts in ways that can promote prostate growth, and your risk of developing benign prostatic hyperplasia and potentially prostate cancer increases. This is real and well documented in the scientific literature. However, and this is the critical point that gets missed, this metabolic disruption comes from consuming massive amounts of processed fructose from sodas, candy, baked goods, and other industrial foods, not from eating 2 or 3 pieces of whole fruit per day. The average person who develops metabolic syndrome is consuming anywhere from 50 to 100 grams of added sugar per day, often much more, primarily from sweetened beverages and processed foods. A medium apple contains about 19 grams of fructose, but that fructose comes with 4 grams of fiber, vitamin C, potassium, and numerous beneficial plant compounds. The metabolic response to eating that apple is completely different from drinking a can of soda that contains 40 grams of high fructose corn syrup with 0 fiber and 0 nutrients. The enemy here is not the fruit. The enemy is industrial food processing, excessive consumption of added sugars, and the overall dietary pattern that creates metabolic dysfunction. When studies show that high fructose intake is associated with prostate problems, they are talking about total fructose load from all sources, dominated by processed foods, not about moderate consumption of whole fruits. In fact, multiple large-scale studies show that men who eat more whole fruits have lower rates of prostate disease, not higher, because the protective compounds in fruit outweigh any concerns about natural sugar content when consumed in normal amounts. Before we dive in, I want to share something special with you. I have created a 21-day challenge designed to help reduce and prevent prostate enlargement with simple exercises you can do in less than 15 minutes a day. Do not wait. Grab your copy of the ebook right now. The link is pinned at the very top of the comments. Now let me shift the conversation completely and show you the fruits that actively protect your prostate and reduce your risk of prostate disease. These are foods that you should be eating more of, not less. Tomatoes, watermelon, guava, and papaya are all rich in lycopene, which is one of the most studied and proven antioxidants for prostate health. Lycopene reduces oxidative stress, inhibits the growth of prostate cells, and has been associated with lower rates of prostate cancer in numerous studies. Dark-colored fruits like grapes, blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries contain high concentrations of polyphenols and anthocyanins, which are plant compounds that combat oxidative stress and reduce inflammation at the cellular level. These compounds protect your DNA from damage, support healthy cell division, and create an internal environment where abnormal cell growth is less likely to occur. The science consistently shows that diets rich in these colorful fruits are associated with better prostate health outcomes. Pomegranates deserve special mention because they contain unique compounds called punicalagins that have been shown in research to slow the growth of prostate cancer cells and reduce PSA levels in men with prostate issues. Citrus fruits, despite being acidic and potentially irritating for some men with existing symptoms, contain compounds like limonene and vitamin C that have anti-cancer properties and support immune function. Even the fruits that might cause temporary symptom flare-ups in sensitive individuals still have underlying protective benefits for long-term prostate health. The overwhelming weight of scientific evidence points in one clear direction. A diet rich in fresh whole fruits is a protective factor for prostate health, not a risk factor. Men who eat more fruits have lower rates of prostate enlargement, lower rates of prostate cancer, and better overall health outcomes. The protective compounds in fruits, including vitamins, minerals, fiber, and phytochemicals, far outweigh any theoretical concerns about natural sugar content when consumed as part of a balanced diet with normal portion sizes. Let me give you practical guidelines for how to consume fruits in a way that maximizes the benefits for your prostate while minimizing any potential downsides. The first and most important principle is to eat whole fruits with the skin and pulp intact whenever possible, rather than drinking fruit juice or eating processed fruit products. The fiber in whole fruit is what moderates the sugar absorption, feeds beneficial gut bacteria, and provides the feeling of fullness that prevents overeating. When you juice a fruit or blend it into a smoothie, you are breaking down the fiber structure and concentrating the sugar content, which changes the metabolic impact. A glass of orange juice contains the juice of 4 or 5 oranges, which delivers a much larger sugar load than you would ever consume if you were eating those oranges whole. Additionally, many commercial smoothies and juices have added sugar on top of the natural fruit sugar, which compounds the problem. If you want to include smoothies in your diet, make them at home, limit them to 1 serving of fruit, and add protein or healthy fat like Greek yogurt or nut butter to slow sugar absorption. The second principle is to combine fruits with sources of protein or healthy fat whenever possible. Eating an apple with a handful of almonds, having berries with plain Greek yogurt, or adding sliced banana to oatmeal with ground flaxseed creates a more balanced meal that reduces the glycemic impact and keeps your blood sugar stable. This is especially important for men who are concerned about insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome, because the combination of macronutrients prevents the blood sugar spikes that can contribute to inflammation. The third principle is to pay attention to portion sizes and variety. 2 to 3 servings of fruit per day, where 1 serving is a medium piece of fruit, 1 cup of berries, or half a cup of melon, is a reasonable target for most men. Choose a variety of colors to get a range of protective compounds. Eat berries for anthocyanins, citrus for vitamin C and limonene, red fruits like watermelon and tomato for lycopene, and tropical fruits like papaya for enzymes and vitamin A. Variety ensures you are getting a broad spectrum of nutrients and antioxidants that work together to support prostate health. Join the Members Club. Drop a super like if this video has helped you understand the truth about fruits and prostate health, and share this with any man who has been scared away from eating fruit by misinformation. Let me be absolutely clear about the central message of this video. No fruit destroys your prostate. What destroys prostate health is chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalance, oxidative stress, and metabolic dysfunction, all of which are caused primarily by processed foods, excess added sugar, poor quality fats, and sedentary lifestyle, not by eating whole fresh fruits. The real danger here is not in the fruit itself. The danger is in the fear and misinformation that causes men to eliminate nutritious foods from their diet based on misunderstood or misrepresented science. When you stop eating fruits because you are afraid they will harm your prostate, you lose out on fiber, vitamins, minerals, and powerful protective compounds that your body needs to maintain health and fight disease. You create nutritional gaps that can actually increase your risk of the very problems you are trying to prevent. Eating with balance and knowledge is the foundation of prostate health and overall wellness. A healthy diet for your prostate includes plenty of vegetables, moderate amounts of whole fruits, lean proteins, healthy fats, whole grains, and minimal processed foods. It is not about eliminating entire food groups based on fear. It is about understanding how different foods affect your body and making informed choices that support long-term health rather than creating unnecessary restrictions that diminish your quality of life. Men's health begins with conscious informed choices, and fruit is absolutely an ally in that journey, not an enemy. The science is clear, the evidence is overwhelming, and the practical application is simple. Eat 2 to 3 servings of whole fresh fruit every day as part of a balanced diet. Choose a variety of colors and types, combine them with protein or healthy fat when possible, and avoid processed fruit products loaded with added sugar. Do this consistently, and you will be supporting your prostate health, not undermining it. The power is in your hands to make choices based on facts rather than fear.